This one I know I'm going to regret selling one day, so future me, if you're watching this video, I am sorry. This is from 1960. It is a Gibson ES-345, but not just any ES-345. In my opinion, the pinnacle peak of the model for any year in spec. This is the 1960 Gibson ES-345 full Freddie King spec. So blues fans, you know, like old blues music, then you probably know the three kings. You got B.B. King, most popular. You got Albert King, and my personal favorite, Freddie King. And so Freddie King was a Chicago bluesman, and he played a bunch of Gibson guitars. He was a Gibson guy, starting out with the wrap tail gold top in the 1950s, and then by the early 60s, he's playing one of these. But it has the three kind of specs that I look for. So that is cherry, long pickguard, and factory stop tail. So cherry, long guard, stop tail, 345, in my opinion, is the absolute peak. And this one even still has the earlier style watermelon cherry red finish, which is just a little more faded, not quite as deep red. Here's a shot of this guitar versus a 61 Gibson in cherry red, where you can see that 61 355 is just a little more deeper red than the watermelon, which happened in 1959 and 1960. So the ES-345 came out in 1959. Standard finish would have been sunburst, but they did ship a couple, like 10 or so cherry red in 59, and then 200 or so in 1960. And then the cherry red color kind of changed in late 1960s. So some of those are going to be the kind of richer cherry red, not this amazing looking watermelon cherry red. So let's talk about the cherry long guard stop tail. You got the watermelon cherry red, long pick guard. For those like ES-335, 45, and 55, 1958 to 1960, even into like the first couple of weeks of 1961, you have the long pick guard that extends down just past the bridge. This pickguard design is meant to mimic an L5 pickguard, and those were really long. This is kind of meant to be that kind of carrying on the tradition of the Gibson archtop guitars, but it's got the ES, big innovation for Gibson. So the solid center block, hollow wings, thin body depth. So the long pickguard was kind of that carryover of those archtop guitars, but then they shortened it to stop right at the bridge pickup in late 1960, early 1961. So you've got the introduction of the cherry red in 1959, and you've got the discontinuation of the long pickguard in late 1960 or early 61. So if you want the cherry long guard stop tail ES-345, you had very few chances to get one even in 1960. So pretty cool, full Freddie King spec, and this one is completely original with a really cool story. I was actually contacted by my friend Mitch, who does photography for Gibson, and he had been looking around at estate sales, and he said, man, I can't make it to this estate sale, but look what is going to be going for sale. And he sends me a picture of this estate sale listing with a lot of kind of typical, old estate sale stuff, but at the very end was pictures of this. And it was described as being sold by the original owner. They were kind of downsizing, getting rid of all their clutter in their house, and they just had this old guitar. And they told us the story. Bob was its original owner, and he was a big Elvis fan back in the day, and so he wanted to be a guitar player. And so his parents bought him this, which was a very expensive guitar in 1960 or 61, whichever year he actually got it. But his dreams of becoming a professional guitar player, musician, never really played out. So you can see it's just crazy well preserved, and even still has what we call the mummy fingers, or the plastic on the tuning machines, which kind of shrink and deteriorate. This seems to happen in Kluson tuners made in the late 1950s up until about 1961. So for whatever reason, the formulation of the plastic just degrades like this. And unfortunately, we're not going to be playing this guitar in the video because it's 100% original, even these tuner buttons, and I have tried to tune them, and they are about to crack and fall off. And so I just thought, I'm going to leave that decision up to its next owner. If you'd like to play this one, I'd love for you to play it. I'd be happy to install some reproduction tuners here so we can preserve the buttons. and you can play this guitar, straight neck, great frets, all you want. But if you want it kind of untouched, that's what it is right now. So if you're interested in a cherry long guard stop tail Freddie King ES-345, then you get to choose for yourself. Do you want it completely original untouched, or do you want it to be ready to play? It can do either of those. So anyway, the estate sale was coming up, and we found out it was going to be on a day where I was going to be on vacation, my family vacation that we have planned every single year. And so I sent my colleague Walter up there with a sealed bid to purchase the guitar, because I had talked to the estate sale people and said, hey, like, how are you selling this guitar? And they said, sealed bids, we may not actually sell it if the seller doesn't get what they decide is a fair offer. And yeah, sorry, best of luck. So I thought, there's gonna be a lot of heat on this one. It's so clean and nice. I am not willing to risk not getting this guitar, because I've only had one other in my whole career of buying vintage guitars since 2009. And the other one was nice, but not near as clean as this one. I mean, if you look at the case on this guitar, you can tell it hasn't been dragged to gigs or anything like that. Still got the original strap. So in my sealed bid that I sent with Walter, I made it not unclear that I wanted the guitar. So we did get to come home with it. I was very thankful. And Bob came back over to the estate sale after he got our bid and was willing to accept it. He came back over and did a photo shoot with the guitar. So this is Bob sitting there in his sunglasses with his guitar. And so we were really proud to present this one to the market for the first time, having just purchased it from its original owner 2 weeks ago. So yeah, that's the 1960 ES-345 full Freddie King spec. If you are looking to build your collection of ES guitars, a cherry long guard stop tail ES-345 is got to be on the list, just like this one, or at least it's on mine. So anyway, I will regret this when I sell it later, but that is the life of the vintage guitar professional, I suppose. So anyway, if this is still available, there's going to be a link down below in the description that you can check out the listing and more pictures. You can reach out to us there if you have any questions about it. Or if you're watching this in the future and it's no longer available, check out the stock at truevintageguitar.com. We'll have an inventory link below if you like to look. We're always kind of looking for the nicest examples of vintage Gibson Kalamazoo factory-made guitars. And this one is just a prime example of the quality I look for. Completely untouched, 100% original, even down to the mummy fingers. This one just does everything. So my name is John. My shop's called True Vintage Guitar. If you like videos of vintage guitars, we'd love to have you subscribe. So hit subscribe now. Doing about 2 guitars a week, and we're always looking for the clean stuff just like this. So thanks for watching.